On today's Primetime Local News, the Saskatchewan NDP leader makes a stop in Lloydminster, highlighting affordability issues. We chat with those attending the Lloyd X Fair to see what they're enjoying in day number 3. Plus, we take a look at the rock and roll band Took performing at the fair tonight.
To me, it's a lot of returning to where we came from, and the music is very much where we came from. So to me, it's sort of it's a celebration of our youth.
Primetime Local News, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Saskatchewan NDP leader Carla Beck has been touring the province since she was elected as leader in June. Today she made a stop in Lloydminster. Beck spoke to the media today by the famous red border markers. She says Lloydminster demonstrates 2 different approaches to dealing with the growing cost of living. Alberta has extended its pause on the collection of the provincial gas tax and will provide monthly electricity rebates. Beck says the Saskatchewan government needs to do something.
The relief measures that we've proposed and have been proposing would put over $400 in the pocket every month of a family of 4 in Saskatchewan. We're calling for a halt to the gas tax, something that the government could do today that would provide some of that relief at the pumps. We see gas 13 cents cheaper in Alberta than it is in Saskatchewan right now. These are measures that the government can take today.
The NDP has struggled to make breakthroughs in rural parts of Saskatchewan. Beck says the party needs to reach out to voters in rural communities and do a better job communicating the party's economic policies.
We have to be talking about those pocketbook issues with people. We have to be showing that not only do we have ideas to improve education and health care, we have ideas built with people in communities, built with industry that will actually put us on a better path, a brighter economic future for this province.
Beck also met with Mayor Albers to discuss issues impacting the city, including the lack of a Saskatchewan court presence. She'll head to Onion Lake tomorrow. With 2 more days left until the wrap-up of the Lloyd X Fair, there's still lots of things to take in and experience. People were out again today for another warm day of the favorite fair activities.
Going on rides. Like, I want to go on lots of rides here.
Probably the food and the zipper. My favorite food is the mini donuts.
Canadian cover band Took will be center stage tonight at 9 o'clock and have been preparing since early this morning. Still to come at the Lloyd Fair tomorrow is Canadian band 5440, the end of the NECC Championships, and the fireworks to close at 11 p.m. More info on the schedule for the last days of the fair can be found at lloydx.com. Recently, premiers from across Canada met up to do a summit calling for more healthcare funding. With these calls for further healthcare funding, cancer is on the mind for many as an area that could use it. Sarah Baker has the story.
In the province of Alberta, 1 in 2 Albertans every year will hear the words, "You have cancer." One Albertan who heard those words in 2008 was Karen Baker when a lump was discovered on her breast.
And every part of my breast had cancer in it. They found cancer in every part of my breast. And also my cancer had made it to the lymph nodes. So I had lymph node involvement. And once you have lymph node involvement, it can travel anywhere in your body.
Many of the people who were treated at the Edmonton Institute like Karen came from central Alberta.
There was a board in the hospital that showed where different people came from that used the cross cancer, and there was an abnormal amount of people coming from the central Alberta region. It was like a cluster of people coming from central Alberta.
With the cost of treatment, medications, and travel expenses, it wouldn't have been something many could do, including Karen, without the assistance of the Alberta Cancer Foundation.
There's 17 cancer centers across Alberta. Some of those are community cancer centers, the regional ones, and then the 2 big ones in Edmonton and Calgary. So it really depends on who's diagnosed, who's walking through those doors every day. I think it's fair to say that our donors support every corner of cancer care, be it blanket warmers for comfort or be it the latest clinical trials and making sure that patients in Alberta have access to those. That's what our donors are helping with, which is pretty powerful.
However, even with assistance from foundations that donate, there is still a problem with the healthcare system.
But the problem is with the healthcare that we've had from 2008 to now, it has slowly gotten worse because they don't seem to keep up with funding healthcare. They keep saying, oh, we'll just take a little bit from healthcare and put it somewhere else, or we're going to leave our funding at healthcare where it was and not increase it. Whereas we know costs go up all the time. So if they're still spending the money that they spent in 2008, the same amount now, it's severely underfunded.
Last year, the Alberta Cancer Foundation raised approximately $27 million to go towards cancer health care. This year, they are hoping fundraising efforts continue to succeed.
Albertans keep us very busy in the hundreds of events. So, there are bike rides at Belrose High School. There is garden parties being thrown in Medicine Hat. From corner to corner, people are coming together. Kids are selling lemonades. People are running through trails. It's overwhelming to see how many people can get behind us.
For Karen, the last day of treatment will always be a memorable one.
I remember my last day of radiation, and when you have cancer treatments, you have a team, and your team never changes. And I got a card signed by all the people that helped me and were part of my treatment, with big smiley faces saying, we did it.
Sarah Baker, Primetime Local News.
Now, here are your agriculture prices for today. The Lakeland Wrestlers Women's Soccer Club have training camp nearing the corner with a new head coach. I have the latest on that story. Joining us on Primetime Local News today is the women's soccer coach for the Lakeland Wrestlers, Wendy Wagner. Wendy, thanks so much for coming on and chatting with me today.
Thank you very much for having me today.
Now, you're heading into your first season coaching the women's soccer club here, but you did join back in January as the interim head coach for the futsal club at Lakeland. Just tell me a little bit about your expectations as you head into this first season here with this club.
So yes, I was an interim co-coach in the futsal season, and coming in as head coach for the fall season, I am very excited to be a part of the team. There are 11 returning players that have great personalities and skill sets for the team. And my expectations are that we get into playoffs, obviously, as well as the team goals, as well as being a part of the community in Lloydminster, not just being a team, but being a program. So that means academically, community-based, as well as the sport-based. We are 2 semesters, so we do have goals set out for the entire year.
I want to touch on one thing right there that you just kind of mentioned earlier. 11 players you coached in futsal that are going to be here for soccer this upcoming season. Just tell me a little bit about how much of a benefit that is going to be for a coach like you who's heading into your first season here with the club.
I think that that's going to be a huge benefit, as well as the new recruits that are coming in. We have a nice base of players that have some experience within a soccer program at a college level, which is much different than at a club level. So I think that the dynamics that we have, myself with the existing players, will be a great base for us to start off on a positive foot, and as well as achieving and setting goals that are like-minded for the players and myself.
Certainly. Well, one thing I do want to talk about with you is just about the recruiting process for you. Just what was that like for you kind of as a new coach? And just tell me a little bit about some of the players that you were able to bring in as a result.
So the recruiting process for me obviously was very new. I had not done that before. I've been a witness to it for the men's team, but never ever a participant. So I do have some connections within some of the clubs in Saskatoon. So that was a huge benefit to me, as well as the current players that I have were a part of my recruiting process. So they helped bring in some players from the Astor program out of Saskatoon, as well as the Junior Huskies program out of Saskatoon. So we have Sarah Mandeville and Kayla Mondu that are coming in out of Saskatoon this year, as well as Haley Fernandez, who played at a different college last year, but was a part of the Junior Huskies program and will be coming into ours. So we do have some recruits coming out straight out of grade 12, but also some recruits that have competitive experience, which is important coming into a competitive college program.
Well, training camp does kick off for your club on August 15th, which is exactly 1 month away. Just tell me about what are you looking forward to most as you head into next month here?
So we move in the weekend of August 12th. Our first official preseason day is August 15th. I'm very excited for everybody to come together and be a team, be a group, getting off on the right foot. So ensuring that our fitness levels are there, that we are like-minded and ready to compete, and just getting all of the players in the mindset that August is dedicated to fitness, on the field training and preparation for our first weekend of games, September 10th, and then setting our goals for first semester, making sure they're realistic and achievable, and then getting set for futsal after the soccer season.
Certainly. Well, Wendy, I know August 15th can't come any sooner for you. I just want to say thank you so much for taking time out of your day to talk with me about some wrestlers soccer here, and best of luck on your club going into next season here.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. I appreciate it. We look forward to showing the community what we can do.
And once again, I will throw it over to Shelby Clark, who will give us an extended look at our weather forecast.
Thank you so much for that again there, Adel. Now taking another extended look at your weather forecast, we will be starting off with our central zone of our province here. Check out for Alberta and Saskatchewan. And on the Alberta side, we have warmed up by a couple degrees from what we were looking at yesterday, especially for Edmonton, just now reaching that 30-degree mark. 29 in both Red Deer and up in Cold Lake, while it is 26 in most spots in this side of the map. At the Baskin and Rocky Mountain House are both at 28 degrees. Switching over to our Saskatchewan side, they are kind of matching with us on the Alberta side. North Battleford and Saskatoon definitely seeing the warmest conditions with that 31-degree mark that they're sitting at. So as I was saying before, we definitely do have that heat warning in effect in most spots across these zones in our provinces, of course. 27, 28 in Prince Albert and Melfort, and Meadow Lake is matching with us, and Cold Lake there with that 28, 29-degree mark. Now switching over to our northern zone, they have slightly warmed up from what they were looking at. Some spots were just closer to that 20-degree mark yesterday, but now they have been warming up closer to that 30 degrees. La Ronge has hit that point, while it is 29 down in Flin Flon, 28 degrees in South End, while it is 26 in Wollaston Lake, 27 in both La Loche and Buffalo Narrows, and 25 in both Uranium City and Stony Rapids. Switching now back to our Alberta side here, they are seeing pretty warm temperatures, definitely have warmed up as well from yesterday. Down in this area here, they are slightly cooler there with that Grand Prairie and Peace River at 22 degrees, 23 up in High Level, and Fort McMurray and Fort Chipewyan slightly warmer compared to the rest with 26, 29. And now going over to our southern zone, they are continuing that warm streak, especially for Medicine Hat, now at 33 once again. They were just sitting at that 31 mark yesterday, but you know, they are definitely seeing that heat warning keeping up in effect there for the past week here. Coronation has warmed up to 31 degrees, while it's 29 in Calgary. Banff and Lethbridge are at 28, 26. So please make sure you're staying safe once again. Make sure you are staying hydrated. That's the top priority. Make sure you got that water on you and using that sunscreen when needed. And now over here on the Saskatchewan side, definitely a lot warmer with most spots now reaching that 30 degrees. Yorkton is just a degree cooler there, but close enough. 30 in Regina and Kindersley, 31 in Estevan and Moose Jaw, and Swift Current is at 32. So they are definitely seeing that heat warning in effect. So please make sure you're staying safe out there. And now going back across the region and looking at what we will expect throughout our evening tonight and throughout the evening into the weekend. We will be seeing that heat warning continue throughout our evening and throughout the night, because we will be seeing those double digits getting closer to that 20-degree low for our temperatures, especially Isle of Cross with that 18. Isle of Cross will also be seeing that risk of a thunderstorm, so please be on the watch for that. A low of 15 that most spots will expect throughout the evening, and a low of 16. And Miriam and Provost will be seeing a low of 13 to 14 degrees. So we will be seeing those warm conditions. Please make sure you got that AC working, hopefully. And if not, make sure you are damping up using a damp towel or cloth. Try to find some other ways to keep cool. And looking at our 7-day forecast here now, we will be looking at some nice temperatures for our weekend, kind of ending off slightly cooler with 24 on Sunday, with a high chance of that precipitation to cool things down. Then continuing on that warm streak with 25, 26 Monday and Tuesday, and seeing some beautiful days coming up ahead next week here in the Border City. That's all I have for now. Our Adil Ahmed will have more news coming up after the break.
Well, I am so excited to be joined here. Primetime Local News tonight, headlining show at the Grandstand. Took is with me. Thank you guys so much for joining me today.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Well, we want to introduce you guys and talk a little bit about what you guys you've been playing with and what you've been doing. So Shane, Todd, Brent, Corey. Let's start with you, Shane. Okay. What have you been up to lately?
Actually, well, since we've been doing a bunch of writing and stuff as Took, but myself, I've been basically in my studio recording a lot of drum tracks and getting into YouTube videos.
Well, and you were with Bees, a big huge band in Japan for a long time.
Yeah, I played in a band called Bees for like 17 years, and still doing some recording for them.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Todd, will next with you. Slash and Brent, there. Slash, Miles Kennedy and the Conspirators.
That's right. Yeah.
How exciting is that?
It's great. We put out a record earlier this year. We did a quick little run to support that. So we've been with Slash for like 12 years. I was in the Age of Electric. Brent has played with everybody from Vince Neil and Alice Cooper and Street Heart and everything in between. So we have, a learned history for sure.
All right, and Brent, maybe.
But more importantly, the headliner, Corey Cherko.
Well, yeah, we'll go to Corey then.
Okay.
Here. So let's talk about you're playing with Shania.
That's right.
Doing a residency, some Kelly Clarkson. Tell me a little bit about how all that's going.
Well, it's going great. We are doing our last little leg in August with Shania. Right now we're on hiatus. And the next leg will be end of August anyway, into September. And then who knows what's going to happen. Maybe there might be an extension or something. And in the meantime, we're doing Took. We're writing new music, and we're touring around. And we're happy to be in Lloydminster.
All right, well, Brent, let's go to you, and we'll talk about Took shows. What can people expect when they come to the show tonight, the Took show?
I always say it's really not our band. We put the band together because we're all, best friends from the prairies. We all live in the States. It's sort of like the story. Mm-hmm. But the soundtrack, the set list we play is kind of like all the music we grew up on, and it's all the music that we loved that kind of helped create our careers playing with these big artists. And then it's everybody else's music. So it's all classic rock, from a certain era that we loved, but that's it. The set list sort of sells itself. All great hit songs from great Canadian bands. And that really is why we do it, because and a lot of these songs to us here in Canada, we know them like Go for Soda, Kim Mitchell. That's a staple of any radio and, concert and that, but maybe down in the States, not so much, or maybe in other parts of the country. So we're sort of waving the Canadian flag. There's nobody more Canadian than someone that doesn't live in Canada. You know what I mean? Two Las Vegans, two guys from
Canada,
LA.
but not living in Canada.
Yeah. Innisfail, Alberta. Say Lanigan, Saskatchewan, is that fair? Winnipeg.
Moose Jaw.
There you go, representing the prairies.
Well, now you guys are used to playing in front of large crowds. Tonight, obviously going to be a little bit smaller than what you're used to. Is it cool because it's more intimate? Or what's the difference between the big stadiums and then when you have to come down and make it a little smaller like it is tonight?
People always ask that. It's funny because to me, it's like, I always feel like it doesn't matter how big the crowd is. It's sort of like, those people need to be entertained. And that's what our job is. So And you might be surprised how rowdy a smaller crowd can get, because it depends on, sometimes that smaller, sweaty club can be as enjoyable as a massive coliseum. You know what I'm saying?
I think love you get back from
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
So
less removed from the big stadium crowd. Sometimes they're so far away. It's like hard to engage. But
yeah, it's great to be like kind of like in each other's faces that way. Well, we'll see. As long as we're not breathing on each other.
Because even in a big stadium, like everybody out there, like wallpaper, they're so far away, but the first 10 rows are no different from the first 10 rows in any gig. So
Exactly. Yeah. So it's kind of like when you're playing that sort of, you can't even see the people at the back of the festival you're playing. It's nice to be able to see all the eyes and see all the people singing along.
So why do you guys do the Took side thing? You're busy enough in your regular lives. Why is it that you choose to come and play in, small town Saskatchewan? I know you guys were at the Elks game and did the halftime show. Why is it still cool to do this and not just say, well, we're done with our small towns and, we're going to hang with the big cats for a while?
I think it's actually the most fun in a lot of ways is the fact that we do end up in places like Lloydminster and Tabor, and we're doing Saskatchewan coming up pretty soon. So to me, it's a lot of returning to where we came from, and the music is very much where we came from. So to me, it's sort of it's a celebration of our youth, and maybe we're clinging to our youth. That's what it is.
We're driving down Main Street on the way back to the hotel after sound check. We're like, hey, it was the Capri. Where was that?
Yeah,
it was here.
Trying to figure out where the gig was
And
back in the day.
It brings us back to when we were here as basically kids playing.
Lots of great memories.
It's kind of the same stuff now. We're still having fun doing it.
Totally.
Come on.
Well, thank you guys for joining me today.
Thank
Again,
you.
Took show tonight, 9 o'clock at the Grandstand. Everybody go out for the best time of the whole Lloyd X Fair.
Yeah.
Thank you guys again so much.
Thank you.
The fun and excitement of the Lloyd X Fair continues today and tomorrow. The Midway is back, and there's so many different rides for kids of all ages to enjoy when you head out to the Lloyd X grounds and take in the Lloyd X Fair. And there's fantastic entertainment. Tonight on the Grandstand stage, it's Took. Tomorrow night, it's 5440. And tomorrow throughout the day, they have different agriculture shows. They have the draft horse pull. They've got the Ernestine Hatpin show. They've got the pedal tractor pull for the kids. They've got the extreme dogs. And you know what? You can check out the full list of activities in the Meridian Source so that you can plan your day at the Lloyd X Fair. You'll also find all the details at LloydEX.com, but check out the fair at the Lloyd X grounds. If you want to see some really neat vehicles, one-of-a-kind vehicles, you want to check out the specialty vehicle show that the Lloydminster Auto Club is hosting. It's coming up tomorrow. It's going to be held at Lions Park, and that's right across from the Lloyd Mall on Highway 16. If you've got a really neat vehicle that you want to show off, registration begins at 9 o'clock. If you just want to spend the day there with your family, you'll be able to check out the vehicles between noon and 4. But it should be another great show hosted by the Lloydminster Auto Club coming up tomorrow. Enjoy some fun with your family at the Lloyd X Fair, and then coming up on Thursday, you can enjoy a fun family night out as the Olive Tree is hosting a family movie night. It's an opportunity to watch the movie Sing 2 together as a family. Just get in touch with the Olive Tree for full details. Well, whatever you choose to do this weekend, we hope you stay safe and stay healthy.
What's Happening is brought to you by Northern Factory Workwear, Circle Drive East, Saskatoon, and Highway 17 South, Lloydminster.
Furniture set and design supplied by Furniture Gallery and Furniture House, downtown Lloydminster.
Joining us today for this week's entertainment panel is the classic Abby St. John. Thank you for taking the time to be able to speak with us today, Abby.
Of course, I love being here.
Oh yeah, of course. We gotta love having these entertainment panels.
Yes.
It wouldn't be a week here without having the classic entertainment panel.
Exactly.
Yeah. And one of our topics has a lot going on right now. Of course, we got the first one starting off is a nice interesting superhero movie. I got a first look at it so far. So this one is called Secret Headquarters, starring Owen Wilson, which sounds really interesting. Of course, we've seen him like for the most recent part as in Loki for all the Marvel fans out there. But now seeing this first look with this trailer and everything, seeing Owen Wilson in this it's kind of giving Iron Man a little bit to me, just from looking at it, from the suits and everything like that. But we got the first poster and it has that tagline saying, "Not all dads wear business suits." So it looks a little bit interesting.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever pictured Owen Wilson as a superhero.
I agree.
It's interesting. I think Owen Wilson's fantastic. So I definitely will go see it. It's weird having a superhero movie that's not directly under Marvel or DC. I'm not actually sure what Secret Headquarters falls under, but it will be on Paramount Plus August 12th, so you can stream it on there. It is starring Owen Wilson, Jesse Williams, for all those Grey's Anatomy fans out there.
Once I saw Jesse, oh my gosh.
Yes, Michael Pena, and then Walker Scobell plays Owen Wilson's son in it, and basically revolves around Owen Wilson and his son's relationship, and he's an IT specialist who goes away for work, and so it kind of leaves his son alone, not, having to go back to his mom's, but instead he calls his friends over and they all come over to his dad's house and they uncover his secret headquarters, which is the purpose of the whole movie. And they discover that his father is a superhero. And yeah, the suit gives off those Iron Man type feel. So basically he got this power from an alien source who chose him to be Earth's guardian. Interesting concept, but I'm here for it. And the kids discover his suit, his power, his inventions that he makes with the power that he was given. And what are kids going to do with superhero tools? Well, they're going to create chaos, and they're going to take them out into the real world and discover what they can do. Bad guys discover this, who's Jesse Williams and Michael Pena. They discover this and they found the power and they plan on stealing it. Obviously, this power gives them the ability to do whatever they want. So they obviously really want it. They have to fight him to get him back. So it's going to be interesting. I'm very hopeful for this movie. It seems fun. It seems funny. It seems cool. It's not your big giant special effects like you get with Marvel or even DC.
He's almost going to be a realistic superhero where it's like, yeah, I got a family, got kids, so I'm just a family man.
You're just an IT guy.
Yeah, but I got stuff I got to do. Yeah. He's got to live his life, make that money for his family, provide, but then on the side, he's like, but I'm also going to beat up some bad guys.
He's the chosen one.
Yeah.
So this is definitely going to be an interesting character for him, and I think, like you said, he's going to nail it.
Yeah, and I like that it does have that whole family aspect to it. Everyone's going to love it. It's going to be great all around, and it's going to be interesting seeing Jesse in that kind of role as well.
Yes.
So, going to be great. But now, moving on to another interesting topic. This is a big one, of course. We got a lot to talk about for this one. We got the 74th Emmy Awards, where everybody's seeing the nominations. Lots of it talked about online. One that I was really interested in seeing with the Outstanding Drama Series. How many good shows are in that category? Of course, Better Call Saul, Ozark, Succession, Euphoria, Stranger Things, Squid Game. That one season just blew your mind for everybody that watched it. Severance. So I think that one's going to be really interesting to see. And with Abbott Elementary, of course, that we were really excited about to see. Got the 7 nominations.
Yes.
So much more, of course, but just starting off there. Yeah. I'm so happy for Abbott Elementary and the crew and the cast.
It's no surprise because of how big it was the first season that came out. It was hilarious. It was fresh. It was new. But it was also taking that take, of what we're used to with The Office, that mockumentary style. They took those kind of aspects that everybody loves and they made it their own thing, but also bringing awareness to underfunded schools in America. And I think that's the most important piece of it. And I think they are well-deserved for their nominations. Outstanding Comedy Series, which is going to be tough because there's also a lot of great shows in that. Ted Lasso is last year's comedy winner, so and they're nominated once again. So there's competition, which is nice. Pam and Tommy, they were an anthology series or a limited series on Disney Plus. They got nominated for a few. So that was interesting because there was mixed reviews on it. It was kind of controversial, but I think it hit the tone of portraying how this affected Pamela Anderson.
Yeah.
This really show highlighted the damage it did to herself, her career, just who she was as a person. This really altered her and how she was viewed in the public and how she was, you know, ostracized almost by it. So that's very exciting to see. Another interesting one that I'm very excited about, Sandra Oh was nominated for Best Actress in a Drama Series for Killing Eve. Just very excited because I love Sandra Oh, so I'm glad she's still getting recognition for this show.
Wasn't even shocked.
Yeah, Killing Eve is still getting recognition. I'm pretty sure that Killing Eve is done after this last season. I'm very excited about that. Zendaya was also nominated for Best Actress in a Drama Series for Euphoria.
And as she should be, because seeing those episodes, especially dealing with the drug abuse, and that one episode in season 2 was just absolutely amazing. It was so realistic that it made you so uncomfortable with how good she did it, with just the anger of her fighting it and everything, damaging herself, not only herself, but with her family as well in that show. She did amazing. So I think she really does deserve that. Yeah, I feel like we've seen a lot of great shows nominated for this Emmys. I'm really excited to see what happens, but unfortunately, that's all the time we have for now for this week's entertainment panel. I wish we could talk more. We could go so hard for this Emmy Awards. So thank you so much again for joining us today, Abby.
Of course, thank you.
And that's going to wrap up our newscast. Thank you for tuning in. Stick around for our 6 o'clock newscast coming up next.